You're watching Pedestal by Ashley Sargeant Hagan. Chapter 6. The next morning, Edwin's mother called him as he was eating breakfast. "Darling, I must meet her. You really must bring her over for dinner." These days, Portia Valentine was semi-retired and spent most of her time worrying about her unmarried only son. "Mother, what are you talking about?" Edwin asked. "Your mystery woman, of course, the one whose picture is all over the news. Edwin's mystery woman, photographed outside the Bella Luna restaurant. She's just lovely, Edwin. You must bring her over." "Mother, we've just met. That was our first date. I think that would be a bit premature." "Nonsense," his mother scolded. "I insist." "Thank you for asking about my near-death experience at the museum yesterday," he said sarcastically. "Oh, darling," crooned his mother, "they weren't aiming for you." At least his mother knew the real story when she saw it. He hung up, wondering what Adriana would say about her newfound fame and his mother's insistent invitation. He quickly looked up the story. Sure enough, his and Adriana's faces were all over the internet. "Mystery woman revealed. Dark-haired beauty caught leaving the Bella Luna with Edwin Sterling. Edwin Sterling has secret rendezvous with mystery woman after near-fatal event at British Museum." It was matched with several snapshots of the two of them, holding hands, looks of surprise on their faces. One lucky photographer had captured them first, gazing into each other's eyes. Edwin quickly saved the photo onto his desktop. He went back to his coffee and eggs and clicked on BBC World News. "Some are calling the dramatic events at the British Museum yesterday an act of terrorism," said the young female reporter from the day before, standing in front of the museum gates. "But so far, no groups have taken responsibility. The British government has publicly apologized to Mr. Tastan, and the Foreign Secretary has assured his safety for the remainder of his visit." Kara Inci, Turkey's biggest oil company, has seen its share of tragedy in recent months, with the death of former CEO Anwar Tastan and his eldest son, Barak. Both were killed in a plane crash in the Balkan Mountains in Bulgaria last spring. Ahmet Tastan, the second son, was scheduled to have been on the plane that fateful day, but decided to stay behind in Sofia. Although there is no link with any known terrorist groups, many have speculated that the plane was shot down by a militant group unhappy with Kara Inci's recent trade negotiations with the United Kingdom and with America. The company owes its success to the discovery of large oil deposits in the Kirikal province, and if the trade negotiations go well, Kara Inci will single-handedly change Turkey from a country that has always imported oil to one that will be exporting it. Consequently, tensions are high in the Middle East, as this puts cracks in the dam that has controlled the flow of oil in the region for decades. Probably terrorists after all, out for the last brother. But who shot the terrorist? "Who is she? Inquiring minds want to know." It was a text from his assistant, Jen. "A friend," he texted back. "More work for David," she teased. He winced. David was his publicist. It probably would be more work for David. David was a sharp-dressing ladies' man in his mid-40s who was just as concerned about his own image as he was for his clients'. Edwin had already heard from him and from Deborah, his agent, last night after the museum story had aired. What the heck did you think you were doing, almost getting shot like that?" were David's first words to him. "What were you doing there anyway? Did Deborah send you? Some kind of cultural ambassador or something? I know I didn't send you there. Lucky for you, the fans are all in an outrage that you were in danger. I can't wait to see what the tabloids will do with this." Edwin was not so eager. Deborah's response at least showed more motherly concern. She was in her 60s and was a friend of his mother's, who tended to coddle him along as if he were a naive child who needed to be taken care of. "Edwin, you really must be more careful. That was a close call." "It wasn't me they were after," he had reminded her. "Nevertheless, we can't have Dr. Hanover in the hospital. What will the Hanoverians think?" The Hanoverians were what Edwin's loyal fans called themselves. After Jen's texts came another call, this time from Philip. "The mystery woman at last." "Don't gloat. You know I hate all this paparazzi stuff," he said, stuffing the last of his toast in his mouth. "How was your hot date, other than the paparazzi ending?" "She was perfect. It was great, really great. It looks like you were all googly-eyed over her. Edwin sighed. It was our first date. I wasn't googly-eyed. Pictures don't lie. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you had it bad. Real bad. I'm not in love with her, if that's what you think. I've only known her a few days. You just said she was perfect. I meant great. She's wonderful and great. There was a long pause. I'm not in love with her, Edwin insisted. Okay, I'm not accusing you, but for what it's worth, she's very pretty. Thank you. You're welcome. Brenda says bring her over and we'll interrogate her. Nothing doing. Fine. Well, just be careful. Most things that seem too good to be true are. Edwin rolled his eyes. I appreciate your support. Just looking out for you, mate. Edwin threw his phone down on the sofa. I'm not in love with her, he declared to the bust of Shakespeare sitting on his bookshelf.